The Magna world of sales does not teach sales. The Magna world of sales enables buying. What that means is we create an environment of trust and respect and value and clarity of a service and product and the paperwork that goes with it as a final transaction. So that's a sale. What we're creating is branding and marketing approaches to influence the customer to sign with you and trust you that your solution will be better than the alternatives. That's the marketing branding aspect. It's a lot like, if you look at the best way to define the Magna sales, marketing and branding, taking dating as an example because that's easy. Asking out somebody on a date is a sale. The reason they go to a date with you is branding. Setting up the whole environment is marketing. So if you ask, it's called a push. You should be asked out because you created an environment of comfort and trust and arena that says, I want to engage with this side. Now it can apply to a human connection like dating, all the way to a purchase of a company. What is really a purchase of a company, right? Someone is falling in love with an idea. Someone is falling in love with an industry. So we are applying human emotions to the process of sales, branding and marketing. So there's a connection that happens where people are not feel stuck. Let's talk one thing about contracts. People do not have the discipline of taking a contract that inks all the conversations with the price, product, positioning and promotion in one place. If you get all these four in one order, the order and the clarity exists. Most people offer vagueness in their entrepreneurship. We give specificity in our sales, specificity in marketing, specificity in branding, and more importantly, how to measure progress. Today we'll talk about sales, branding and marketing. If you think about the trickiest dimensions of these three in the Magna School are, how do we look at these three different dimensions to arrive at the same conclusion, which is conquering the heart space, mind space, eventually the purse of the customer. Sales, marketing and branding is a cornerstone of a great product, a great solution, a great service. Without these three pieces coming together, it will never make it to the purse of the customer and stay in their heart and mind space. So let's unlock the quantum of sales, marketing and branding today. What is Magna's purpose? If you think about Magna, there's a ton of research in the academia that the world's leading educators and researchers are doing. There's enterprises and startups who are looking to consume that research, and Magna has brought this unique platform where we make them connect with each other, and platforms like these to enable those conversations. So let's dive into sales, marketing and branding with some fundamentals. First, we do not use any of those terms but apply something else, what we call the influence. To win the mindset and the heart space of the customer or the consumer, you need to have an influence into their world. How does it happen? Look at the outer ring of Magna. First, think of a product or a service or a solution or a platform almost like a person. It needs to have an identity. An identity gives it some kind of a shape that people can relate to. Then you have an experience with that persona, and then you want to engage further. So that's the outer dimension of how the sphere of sales, marketing, branding works, where the words itself are fading away in the background. It's like sugar in your coffee. You feel the flavor, but you don't get to see it. That is the identity of the product, the experience the customer or consumer has with it, and the engagement, so they come back to have the experience again and again, and a loyalty associated with it. For pulling off these three things, what do you need? We need a strategy of how to pull off this magic without making it like the customer is being tricked. How to design in a way that it is easy and convenient and comfortable for the customer, where they are feeling, I'm consuming it on my terms, I'm not being pushed to do it. And that is a communication. So in anything, the inner triangle of Magna for influence is saying you have a good strategy, you have a good design, now you have to communicate in a way that is in the frequency of the consumer and the customer. Let's see how that works in the real enterprise. If you look at some statistics which are staggering, an average company is now collecting 75,000 individual data footprints of a customer. And this is, by the way, 2017. You can just imagine what is being captured right now. Your smiles, your words, your conversations, your searches, everything is footprints that are being driven to data algorithms to push products to you, to call for your attention and engagement. How do you live in the data flood if you have one more product of yours to push into the marketplace?